we're going to go to our true and false segment. We're going to read you a statement, and you can say whether this is true or whether it's false. And you can give your reasoning also, if you choose to, on why you're answering the question this way.
Sounds
Coach,
good.
Coach, I'm going to lead it off. First one. RPO, triple option. Same concept, true or false?
True.
All right. The new revenue sharing model that's being proposed or enacted through the court system is going to change the structure of NIL deals moving forward. True or false?
True. I don't know how, though. That's way above my pay grade. But I know whenever you move that amount of money somewhere, it comes from something. So it has to have an effect somehow. I just don't know exactly how.
Coach, being an NFL front office guy myself and structuring that structure at University of Maryland, do you believe that front office concept of the NFL will become the new concept of college football? True or false?
False. I think it'll be close. I think what you see is you already have the recruiting departments, and you have those departments. The hardest part about the NFL model versus college model is the NFL knows which guys are going to become free agents. And then the NFL gets to draft in a draft setting. So the NFL very rarely goes into a period of time where they don't know who's actually going to be in the pool to pick from. Whereas in college, it's way more, you have to know every player on every team. That's not possible. So you can't say, hey, we're going to have an NFL scouting department where we know and we scout every single college player. That's not real. So I still think it's going to be hectic in terms of, oh, crap, the portal opens. Who went in today? Oh, he's my top guy. Oh, crap, 6 hours later, another guy went in. You watch him. He's my top guy. 7 hours later, that kid signed somewhere already, being in the portal 6 hours, and the other kid did, and you rearrange your board. So I think it's always going to be way more chaotic than a pure NFL system. But I do think you're going to have a lot more people in that department. Do I think people will name it similar to NFL systems? But I think it's going to be really hard to just copy and paste that model completely. But I think there may be there will be more people in those departments.
There's been crazy changes the last decade and few years on conferences. We're not the Power 5 anymore. We're the Power 4. We were just talking about that before we started filming today. The super conference model that is being done across the country in sports is good for college sports. True or false?
I mean, true, false. I mean, it's kind of where it's headed. It's just a rebranding. In reality, is there much of a difference from that as opposed to when people call things the Power 5 versus the Power 4? I don't know. So to me, it's just, it's the same thing. You paint an egg purple, it's still an egg, right? So I think it's really just that thought process is almost just a branding spin, but I don't know enough about the details of it. But if it's just putting 60 teams and saying, here we go again, that's essentially the Power 4/Power 5 already. So I don't know how much different it would be.
Coach, true or false? High school recruiting is still going to be the foundational pieces for successful programs.
True. Right now, I firmly believe that. I believe in culture, though. Players obviously win games. They're the most important piece of winning as players. But in order to maximize a player, you have to have a culture. And in order to create a culture that's sustainable, you have to have people in your program to build that culture and hold on to that culture. So I think over the long haul, I truly believe you need high school players in your program to develop, to build, to hold on to that culture and to grow. So for me, it's 100% true. But here's the deal. I don't know all the answers. We went 3-9, right? So somebody may come on here and say false, and they may be just as right as I am because I don't know the answers. It's just what I believe. And that's my opinion. I think I think the NFL has showed us that the organizations with the best culture consistently win. And I think if you learn anything from the pro sports model is culture and the ownership, which is the culture that they establish, those teams, the Steelers are always going to win. I'm a Cardinals fan. But the Steelers are always going to win because their culture and that organization is so good that it doesn't matter what comes or goes. They have a plan, they have a culture, and they continually win. And they have a head coach that's consistent, one of the best head coaches in the game. And that consistency and that culture is going to always make them a winner. And then how good of a winner is just how good of talent they have in the room. But they're always going to be a winner.
College football looks a lot differently now than what it did when we were growing up. NIL, transfer portal, immediate eligibility when you move schools to like. College football is in a good place right now. True or false?
True. We get to impact 18 to 22-year-olds. I don't care what happens. I don't care what the negatives are. I don't care any of that. At the end of the day, you still, whether a kid makes $0 or $200,000, I don't care. It's an 18-year-old whose girlfriend's going to break up with him, who's going to have to show up at workouts, who's going to be sad, who's going to need somebody to help him. And I know that it's a profession and we have to win. And I get it all. Trust me. I'm the head coach here. I understand the pressures, but if we lose sight of the purpose of college football, which is to help these kids and to help these people be successful in life, then shame on us. So yeah, is there some crazy stuff happening? Yeah, I can't deny that. Right? I won't deny it. There's stuff I don't like? Yeah, I won't deny that. But are we in a good place because there still 18 to 22-year-olds that this game is changing their life? Yes. And that's the most important thing to me. And I think sometimes we blind ourselves from what it's about, and that is changing kids' lives. That's it. And we're still doing that.
Coach, before we get out of here, I want to ask you something. You said this in the very first question we asked. Your high school coach is now your special teams coordinator. I also saw you make another move. Brian Carrington, who's your corners coach, who was a legendary guy in the recruiting space in terms of being an off-the-field support staff guy and recruiting. I knew him very well as he was big in the recruiting St. Louis and was always involved with the top guys. What made you give those two guys the opportunities that you gave them? Because it's very unusual to hire a recruiting staffer and put them on the field. And also, not many high school coaches get the opportunity to come to the college level. So what was it about those guys, and how important is the relationships when you're talking about giving guys opportunities?
Yeah, at the end of the day with BC Brian, Coach Carrington, he's an elite relationship builder, and he's one of the smartest people I know. Just pure intelligence, his knowledge of things, his vocabulary, he's way smarter than me. And I said, you know what? Maybe this guy doesn't know all the football stuff yet, but he's super intelligent and he's good with people. Well, I know he's going to be able to get the most out of our guys because he has relationships. That's the most important thing in coaching is the relationships. And if it takes him a year to learn the game at a high level, I feel great about that. Let's surround him with smart people that he'll learn from. And he did that. And I couldn't be more happy with him. In terms of high school coaches, I'm a high school coach. High school coaches are teachers. So Coach Regal, former high school coach, our special teams coordinator, I wanted teachers. Coach Munns, former high school coach at Swirl High School, is our tight ends coach. Coach Aguano, former high school coach at Chandler High School, is our running backs coach. Coach Saga, who coached D1AA ball, is our O-line coach. Coach Ward, who was a D2 coach, is now worked his way up to be our coordinator. I like people who got it out the mud. Point blank. That's what I like. I like people who show up every day and they're like, they got a chip on their shoulder and they got it out the mud. They didn't have no connections. They didn't have no buddy system. They woke up just like Hines Ward, our wideouts coach. He woke up with nothing. He had to change positions from quarterback to wideout, and he played the game with a vengeance. Like, I like dudes who got it out the mud.
Hines Ward, my high school teammate, one of my best friends, a teammate of his on the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kerry Davis. Shout out to Kerry. And Hines Ward is also Smoke, a member of the greatest fraternity that has ever been created, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Kenny, we want to thank you for coming on the show today, my brother. Good luck to you this season.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me. Go Devils.